democratic now, is it? Right. Now I'm going to do a song that's called the Brexit
Brussels
Dividend.
in Luxembourg, we're watching and it's Stop Brexit, hashtag Stop Brexit. And we're watching live here in Brussels. Juliet Macapilla talking to you live down at Brussels. We're right here and of course campaigning and rally about Stop Brexit.
What's an infinitely stupid idea? It was one of the most ridiculous things that I ever thought I'd had. Time, resources and energy, let's waste them. And then I'll let you listen to some wonderful speakers. And this song is, the last two songs were a bit negative. They were about why Brexit's bad, why we should go through Brexit. This song is a positive one about Europe, because that's what we need in our campaign. We need to shout out loud and proud that we are Europe and that is better for its citizens, and we are stronger when we work together with the EU 27. So this song is called We Are Europe. Don't know what they say. Your smile is universal, so share one anyway. Friendships start with laughter, and happiness is here to stay. resistance, that nothing was worth achieving if there is no fight to be had. So put your faith in people and you'll see they're not all so bad. We are Europe, we are one. Nations come together, standing strong, united in diversity, on the pillars of our history, striving for equality, stood in solidarity. We are Europe, we are one. We are Europe, we are one. Put the past behind us, our future is ahead. It's okay to make mistakes and regret what we have said. Together we can make things better if we learn to talk and listen. Founded on forgiveness, a flag with golden stars that glisten. This is the pulse of Europe, with the blood rushing through our veins, like water coursing down the river, flowing high after heavy rain. We are Europe, we are one. Nations come together, standing strong. Unité par la diversité, sur l'histoire partagée. En quête d'égalité, ensemble en solidarité. Nous sommes Europe, nous sommes un. Nous sommes Europe, nous sommes un. Thank you everyone, keep fighting, we can win this.
And that was EU Supergirl, of course, the one and only Magdalena, right here live in Luxembourg, that is Brussels, here to support saying, and the rally here today is hashtag Stop Brexit. The people here are all with it. Thank you to everyone that is coming in. Assad Mohammed, Eddie Joseph, all of you, S. Okula, Manelli, everyone, thank you for coming.
I'd just like to open up this speech, and I've been told to say, hi all, and thanks for coming to EU Night third event to Brussels. The main objective of this event is to raise awareness of this event is as follows. Raise awareness to the rights we have now within the EU and what it would mean to lose those rights. To tell our friends in Europe and the EU Parliament we have not given up and never will give up. We will fight to the very end. Thirdly, to send a clear message to the UK government, and we anthem and photos with the MEPs if we have time. I personally just want to say that the fight has been and will be even longer. The fight has been long and it will be even longer. It has not been easy and will not get any easier. And there will be time also strongly believe that together truth and justice will prevail. Yeah. Without further ado, let me introduce you to our first MEP guest. He's from Wales, Labour Wales, Mr. Derek Ragoon.
All the way from Wales, we've got an MEP who has travelled all the way from Wales. Welcome, and we're welcoming him all the way from Wales, London, and the MEP is just about to speak. Here we are now, ready for his speech.
Friends, can you hear me?
Can you see where the mic is?
Is that better? I was speaking to the earpiece then. First of all, we've had some bad news and some good news today.
We don't want no bad news.
No, well, the bad news is we've had some terrible weather and we've had to relocate the rally from Schumann. But the good news is it's been relocated to the Grapevine, which is my local bar in Brussels! And I think it was a very wise decision, looking at the weather, to do that relocation. Can I say at the very start of my contribution, I'm delighted to see there are some Union Jacks around the room. You know, the Eurosceptics wrap themselves in the flag, but they are not patriotic. They're not the patriots. We are now in the majority. Yeah. Every opinion poll which is now coming out shows there's a majority to have a vote, a people's vote on the final deal, and there's now a majority for staying in the European Union. An opinion poll out today showed there's an 18-point lead for Remain. There's been a huge change, a huge swing in public opinion. And I think that swing will continue. Yes. As more and more people recognise they were lied to in the referendum campaign, and you know the lies yourself. People now is to stay in the European Union. And of course, people recognise what a nasty lot these Brexiteers are. A right-wing, nasty lot. We did an interview today, and I was asked about the motives of the Leave campaign. And of course, it's largely run and funded by rich right-wing billionaires who want a new model economy, one based on no workers' rights, no consumer rights, no environmental protection, That's why they don't like the European Union. That's why they don't want to be in the European Union. They don't want all these EU regulations which protect people and our environment. So they're a nasty lot. They want to take away our rights. They're happy to take away the rights of EU citizens living in the UK and UK citizens living in the European Union. They're happy to take them away. But we will not accept that. And I can tell you on behalf of my colleagues from the European Parliament that we will have a vote. We will have the final vote early next year, February or March. And we will insist that the rights of citizens are looked after. Yeah. That will be the priority. That will be the priority of the European. And it would be a shame, a great shame, if we left that Peace and Prosperity Project and tell them we will not without fight.
My name is Sarah Mack. You might have seen me on the Twitter feed or on social media. I am the social media person for Sea Haven Staying In, which is on the south coast. And yeah, I'm here to help nationally, locally, and now internationally. I'm going to compare this evening. I could do it in 3 languages, but I'm only going to do it in English because I've had a few beers. I've been asked to change the running schedule slightly, so thank you, Derek, very much. But I'd also like to welcome now Molly, the MEP. Is she available at all?
Fabulous, absolutely fabulous to see so many of you here in Brussels. I mean, 2 years ago, we couldn't have imagined something like this. We couldn't have imagined British people coming out showing their love and passion for the European Union. We've built a fantastic movement. You know, you've done that in your streets, in your communities. Thank you so much. Give yourselves a round of applause. Now, you often hear people say we shouldn't have a people's vote. Because after all, the Brexit referendum was the biggest exercise in democracy we've ever seen. Well, how many people here think that's actually true? How many people here think that the Brexit vote was a democratic decision? We know now, that both the Leave campaigns broke the law.
It was fraudulent.
It's about crime. Brexit is a crime scene. I'm sure Femi's here, that's one of his favourite slogans. We're not going to let an undemocratic decision like that stand. We know that both sides broke spending rules and they broke the law and the police are investigating. We also know that there was Russian involvement. We know that a foreign power interfered with our electoral process. And we know that there were adverts sent, you've probably seen those adverts, you know, saying that over in that building I've been plotting to stop you have your cup of tea, or plotting to try and kill off polar bears. Lies were sent to people and on the basis of that they changed their minds. and we will not allow an undemocratic decision to stand. This is about not just stopping Brexit, but it's also about saving our democracy. To make sure that we maintain warm relationships and good friendships with our European allies. And that's so important. They've made very clear that they're going to keep the door open. They don't want to lose us any more than we want to lose them. And so the politicians here are clearly keeping that door open. You're keeping those links, and you're communicating very clearly that there's still a huge enthusiasm for the EU in Britain. And several people have asked me today, is it possible to withdraw Article 50? I mean, there's so much crap, quite honestly, talk about what the situation is back in Britain, but the law here is very clear. We invoked Article 50, we can unilaterally revoke it, and if we do that, we keep exactly the same conditions we have now. So when you go home, write that letter to your local papers, make sure everybody knows that, because there's a huge amount of disinformation about that. We still have the power and the right to say that we want to remain in the EU. You and to speak to you. But the last thing I wanted to say is just to quote David Davis Becker himself. If a democracy cannot change its mind, it ceases to be a democracy. We can see from the polling that the people of Britain have changed their minds. We have a right to make that felt. We have a right to have a people's vote and to change our minds and stay in the EU. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Molly. Thank you. I'd like to call up next Sarah Parks. She's from the Campaign in Europe and she's also from British in the Netherlands. Thank you very much, Dank u wel.
Good evening, fellow citizens of Europe. We tried to put this on the wrought-iron doors of the UK representation to the EU, but the security guards inside spotted us, so we had to scuttle off. I would like to begin with some excerpts from a speech by Margaret Thatcher as leader of the Conservative Party before the UK referendum about continuing membership of the European Economic Community in 1975. We are inextricably part of Europe. For Britain to leave would mean denouncing a treaty. Britain does not break treaties. It would be bad for Britain, bad for our relations with the rest of the world, and bad for any future treaty on trade we need to make. We can play a role developing Europe, or we can turn our backs on the community. By turning our backs, we forfeit our right to influence the community. The European community is a powerful group of nations. Britain as a member, it is more powerful. Without Britain, it will still be powerful. Britain, if she denounces a treaty, cannot then complain if Europe develops in conflict with Britain's interests. It is a myth that the community is simply a bureaucracy with no concern for the individual. It is a myth that our membership of the community will suffocate national tradition and culture. Are the Germans any less German for being in the community? Or the French any less French? Of course they are not. It seems to me to display an amazing lack of self-confidence in Britain on the part of some people, that they think that whereas no other nation in the community has lost its national character, Britain in some way will. If the British people vote no to the European community, they will read how there was a defeat for cooperation between nations. They will read how extremism won over common sense. For it is purely common sense to belong to a community working together in peace on economic and political issues that concern us all. Whether one agrees or not with the policies of the Thatcherite cabinet that governed Britain in the 1980s, one must concur that Mrs. Thatcher's words in 1975 ring as true today as they did then. British living in England. I want to remain an EU citizen because I want to keep my right to live in other European countries. Matt, British, living in France. I want to retain the freedom to live, work or retire anywhere in the EU member states. Adam, British, living in the Netherlands. Living in Europe meant, up until June 24, 2016, that I was a member of a massive chaotic cacophony created colourful community. Gemma, British, living in Germany. 1.3 million British citizens live in EU 27 countries. Contrary to what the UK tag with the trash trade, we are not retired Brits living it up on the costas. 79% of us are working. We were dismayed by the result of the 2016 referendum. Indeed, quite a lot of us were denied the right to vote on this issue that has such a profound impact on our lives. 1.3 million of us live in EU 27 countries, and over half of us were denied a vote, denied a voice about that which affects us directly, denied a voice about impact on the futures of our children, our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren, and generations beyond. If the European Union simply reciprocates the UK proposal of settled status, this would not work for us. There is no provision for freedom of movement of persons and the rights that come with that under EU law. We do not want to lose our freedom of movement and all that is associated with that right. Take dual nationality, some might say. What many of us can't, because the state we are resident in does not allow it, or only allows it under very specific circumstances. Well, so we take nationality in the EU state of residence then. Well, some of us would love to do so. But it's not that simple. Many are concerned that they will lose their future claims on UK state, civil service or military pensions if they have received their British nationality. And that is just an easy example to point out, and it's the tip of the iceberg of all the potential problems that could happen if people receive their British nationality and become a citizen only of the state they are resident in. All of us are worried about our future rights as non-EU citizens to live, work and claim benefits in times of need in the EU 27 countries. We value and need our EU citizenship. We are all productive members of society by our work, volunteering or simply by giving a helping hand to our neighbours. Some of us no longer have close friends or relatives in Britain because they've either died or moved outside the UK themselves. Post-Brexit, if we are asked to leave our countries of residence, we shall have nobody to turn to and nowhere to go.
Can you hear me at the back, please? Can you shout "Stop Brexit" at the back if you can hear me, please?
Stop Brexit!
People at the back, please can you keep the noise down because some people are complaining they cannot hear. Please. No, Julie needs to go this way. We've got meetings.
Okay, apologies ladies and gentlemen, we've had a change in running order. Apologies to the speakers who were going to speak, but apparently some of our members of the European Parliament wish to address us and they have important meetings to go to. I hope those MEPs will shout and tell the people that we want to remain and shout for us here in Europe as much as we are shouting and many of our Remain MPs are shouting in the UK. Next up, can I please ask Richard Corbett to come up? MEP, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
How many Brexiters does it take to change a light bulb? Public opinion is previous Leave voters. Leave voters who are entitled to say, hang on a minute, this isn't what we were promised, this isn't what I was told, and it's damn well not what I voted for. They were told it would be easy. It's difficult. They were told it would save lots of money that would all go to the NHS. Just as Britain, instead of with the full clout of Europe behind us. So from beginning to end, this whole edifice is built on a pack of lies. And as Samit said at the beginning, some of us will fight to the very end to try to stop it. Molly was absolutely right to say that Britain can change its mind right up until Brexit Day. After that, it becomes much more difficult. We will, even in the transition period, no longer be a member state. To try to change Brexit then means applying to join again. It means an accession treaty agreed by every single other member state. That's a long, difficult, cumbersome procedure. No, friends, this is urgent. We need to stop Brexit over the next few months. And crunch time is coming this autumn. If this government reaches a deal and brings it back, we must ensure that that is rejected by the House of Commons or put to a referendum. And I am confident that such a referendum can be won. The British people are seeing through the lies, they're seeing through the untruths, they're seeing how they were hoodwinked. Think about it. Public opinion. You would have expected public opinion to rally behind the result. That people would say, well, we've had our debate, we voted, let's get on with it. You would have thought that there would be 60-odd% backing Brexit. Well, that's not happened. It's going the other way. More and more people are realising that this was a serious mistake. More and more people are realising that this needs to be reversed. It needs to be stopped. And the future of our country and of Europe depends on us in this room and many like us winning this battle. Thank you very much.
Definitely. Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Inspiring to hear our MPs so prominent. Thank you very much. Can I please introduce up next Julie Ward, please. MEP, thank you very much.
Julie.
Right, I've got to stand right here apparently. Okay. Well, thank you very much, first of all, to Sanet for organising this rally with many of you. I think what's happened with Brexit is that everybody's found their campaigning spirit. You found skills that you never knew you had. You've met friends that you will be friends with forever. You've employed all kinds of creative methods tell your stories. And these alliances, these skills, this sense of purpose, I think will never leave you. It will never leave us. And so I just want to acknowledge, because I know that it's quite difficult to step into that arena. If you've never stood on a platform before, if you've never organised a rally before, I know how difficult it is. And I just want to say a big, big thank you to Summit and the organisers for making this happen. It's brilliant to see so many of you from across the UK, but also from across Europe. Okay, I was about to say across Europe. Sue's staying in my house, so I know where Sue's come from. Right. I know that you're here from many different parts of the country back home, but you're also here from many different parts of Europe. Brilliant to see people here from my own constituency. But I also know many of you because I'm campaigning with you. When I'm in London on a Wednesday or any other day of the week, I'm with you outside Westminster. If you're having events across the country, I'm trying to be there if I can, not just in the northwest of England, but wherever I need to be, to try and stop what I think is a criminal act. I mean, Brexit for me it's criminal. You know, in terms of the Good Friday Agreement and what it is, the threat it is posing to peace in Northern Ireland is criminal. We cannot allow that to happen. I feel, you know, I'm a bit of an accidental politician. I got very angry about a few things, and one of them was about the anti-European lies in the right-wing press. And this was happening several years before the Tories came into power, and then, and then we knew that there was going to be a referendum. I was really angry about the way that the EU was portrayed, because I worked as an artist, as a poet, as a theatre maker, as somebody using cultural tools as a means of social change and empowerment for young people. I was bringing young people to Europe to meet with their peers as part of a peace project. That is Europe, not the Europe of the Daily Mail and the Telegraph. And I think it's really important that we stand up for the fundamental values of Europe, which is a union of people.
Yes. I demand a vote on the final Brexit deal.
It doesn't belong to the politicians who want to take us out and who only want to have some really low-grade country at the bottom of the pile that will not pay decent wages to anybody and sell off all our public services to the lowest bidder. I want a Europe for all of us. I want a Europe too that will welcome refugees and people who are suffering. And I want our young people who are not allowed to vote, who are shut out of that process, I want them to have the opportunities that I had and that many of you had and that have now been snatched away from them. I think it's really important that we stand up for young people in this process. They are furious and they're really upset that their future lives have been diminished in a way, and they feel that there's very little that they can do about it. Well, they can join us, and they are joining us. I was speaking at the Scotland People's Vote rally, so I wasn't speaking there, but I was there to support them, and the lead person for the Scottish Students' Union was there speaking about her aspirations to stay in Europe, the aspirations that she has as a young person, to want to have relationships, to live, to work, travel, fall in love with people across Europe. It's really important that we still find a way and enable people to have these people-to-people, person-to-person, community-to-community relationships, because that's Europe. That's what we're fighting for here. Now, I'm also also against Brexit because I'm against austerity.
Yes.
I cannot abide with the fact that our libraries have been shut, our youth services have been shut, our National Health Service is on its knees,
Yes.
women's aid refuges have been closed, and a whole host of public services have been taken away from us. And I'm furious about that. And that's the result of austerity, folks. Well, if you're against austerity, you have to be anti-Brexit. Because all that's going to happen with Brexit is more austerity. So, you know, you would have seen I am the left against Brexit. I'm standing against Brexit on this platform because I cannot bear to see any more cuts, any more suffering for the poorest people in my community. And that's all that Brexit holds for them. So I'm with you on many, many fronts, but I'm with you particularly because I'm standing up for young people and for the future of those people who were shut out of the process. Thank you for everything that you do.
Thank you very much, Julie. Julie mentioned about Sodom outside Westminster, and I know a lot of people have been outside in Sodom. Can you put your hands up if you've been outside Westminster? Okay, hands down now. I'd like Dave to stand up, and I'd like Elspeth to stand up, please, if you may, because the three of us have done the Brussels Dash. We were in Sodom yesterday, and we were in Brussels today. Thank you very much. Yeah, no, this is them. This is Elspeth and Dave and me who were at Sodom. We've done the Brussels Dash today. Thank you. Next, I'd like to welcome up Graham Watson, former MEP, who's going to speak to you a little bit more. Thank you very much. Can you hear us all at the back? Is that okay? Can I ask our speakers to be mindful of the time, because we also have a lot of speakers that we haven't heard from. And so if I start making sort of hand movements to the side of you, can you wrap it up a bit, please? Thank you.
Can I say thanks to Samet for bringing us all here, and thank you to you for turning out in such big numbers. Say not the struggle not availeth. And it's brilliant to hear Madalena Kay popularising the efforts of this campaign to stop Brexit. Yes. Madalena, well done. There are only three things to say about Brexit. It's a crazy idea. If it happens, it'll be a disaster, and we can still stop it. It is 2 years since that referendum. It is 18 months since the letter to leave the European Union. And in all that time, the government cannot agree on what the alternative is to European Union membership. Yes. Why? Because none of the alternatives is as good as what we have now. And that's why there must be a people vote. And I don't know about you, but I detect in recent weeks that there is a fresh wind blowing through the highways and byways of Britain. And in that wind is the warm purpose of the British people to stop this nonsense. Go to every march, go to London on the 20th of October and make sure that we get rid of this parcel of rogues, this puckle of gadgets, this band of charlatans that are running our country. It does not matter what label you are campaigning under. I am a Liberal Democrat, but I take my hat off to those people within the Labour Party, like Richard and Julie, and even those few within the Conservatives who are standing up I'll end here, Chair, is this. The main challenges that we face as humankind are global. They are the challenge of fighting climate change. They are the challenge of getting on top of internationally organized crime. They are the challenges of dealing with the problems of world development so that people don't need to migrate to find decent living conditions.
And we still believe now that the only way to protect our rights, to guarantee we keep all the freedoms that we have now, is to stop Brexit. First we were told by the British government that we were #1 priority. Then we were told that all citizens' rights were done and dusted. We didn't believe them then, and we don't believe them now. Brits in the EU and EU citizens in the UK are as anxious now as they were before. Based as it was on a factual error, her belief that the result of the referendum represented the will of the people. The Leave campaign broke the law. It's been proven beyond a reasonable doubt. Some will say they bent the rules, that they made mistakes, but that's irrelevant. They broke the law, and
ensure that any future referendum is conducted fairly and within the law.
Yes.
Many in the government still believe that no deal is better than a bad deal. Well, at the risk of repeating myself, no Brexit is better than a bad Brexit.
Yes.
No Brexit.
More job losses, more companies moving overseas, more citizens fleeing the country, more talk of stockpiling food and medicines. The Brexit dream is becoming the Brexit nightmare. The lies, the fantasies, the illegal activities have been exposed. Only the most ardent Brexiters still cling to the fallacy of Brexit going it alone. The public wants to know what the future looks like before they become citizens of Brexit.
Thank you, Sue, for that. That was wonderful. I think it's noted that some of the people that it affects most, our young people and those who live in Europe, work in Europe, or come from European countries who now live in the UK, those in limbo, it affects the most who weren't able to vote. So it's a great pleasure that
permanent residency. And I can tell you I speak daily to EU citizens, and the suffering caused by the uncertainty over our rights is immense, particularly for the most vulnerable ones, but not only. There are academics, scientists, and many of the so-called brightest and the best who've been denied PR. The hostile environment is making it hard for many of us to rent, open bank accounts, or set up a mortgage. Settled status has now been offered to us as a solution to all our problems. But is it? I don't think so. First of all, settled status is an application, not a registration. When In Limbo was created, we added a few stories of Brits living in the U27 at the end, as our desire was always to create a second volume to capture the human cost of Brexit for our fellow UK citizens. Well, I'm pleased to say, in June, we published a second book of In Limbo 2. This book is the result of a collaboration with our In Limbo group members and another Facebook group called Brexit Hear Our Voice, and chaired by my dear friend Debbie. Why is In Limbo 2 so unique? Because when the UK government claimed that EU citizens should be used as bargaining chips to protect UK citizens, how Brexit is destroying the very fabric of this society. It is causing personal suffering, disuniting families, destroying friendships, ripping entire communities apart. And let's not forget that many Britons abroad were denied a vote too. So, my hope is that these testimonies will help highlight the human cost of Brexit. As one author says, please remember, I'm not a statistic. I'm not just words on a page. No. I'm a scared young woman who had just started building up her life when the foundations were pulled away. My other wish is for these books to reach the soft Brexiters in the hope to touch their hearts and change their minds. Was this vote what they really hoped for? No. As the Red Bus said, Brexit, is it worth it? No! I would like to conclude, as I always do, with the great poet Dante, who inspired the title and the cover of both books. In the middle of my life, Dante says, I found myself in a dark forest, for I had lost the straight path. Like Dante, in times of darkness, we sometimes struggle to see the end, the light at the end of the tunnel. But Dante's Inferno ends with the verse, and hence we came forth to rebehold the stars. So this is my wish for all of us, that we may continue to speak up for what is morally right in the hope to rebehold the stars. Let's keep up the fight.
You're hearing from Elaine Ramigi. That is Elaine Ramigi, and she's written watching a podcast in Limbo. My name is Juliet Macapilla, reporting live at Luxury Bags in Brussels, right here in Brussels. Juliet Macapilla, you can follow me at JNM1000, at JNM1000, reporting live here at Brussels.
Home is not where I was born, it's the deepest of longings, the special place I was meant.
Stop Brexit,
my long
hashtag
lost and
Stop
my newly
Brexit.
found. My beloved under my skin, my heart, my haven and my own. Home is where my heart can lead. Like crumpled wings and foam, home is where my spirit shines, but my soul is exiled when we're apart. Home is not where I was born. It is a place where I belong. Home is where I found my way. But now, they've torn my home away, and I no longer know who I am. Thank you very much. On to everyone.
That's really emotional.
Just got to find my speech. Fernanda? Hello? Okay, thank you, Elena, my dear friend, and my daughter, Molly. Molly started a group called Young European Voices a couple of months ago. As you know, Elena does in Limbo too, and I'm Brexpats Hear Our Voice. I'm also on the steering committee of British in Europe. Just thought I'd get that out of the way. Okay, my name is Debbie Williams, and I'm the founder of Brexpats Hear Our Voice. I am self-employed, and I've recently moved to Spain from the Netherlands. I'm neighbours with that woman there. I'm friends with that other lady who lives in Spain there. So, before that, I lived here in Brussels, in Tervuren. Yay! And before that, I lived in Munich, in Germany. I was, or I am, able to do that because of freedom of movement. And like many of us, my questions are, what happens to me, my family, my daughter, my livelihood? I'm self-employed, I need to cross borders to earn a living. Will I still have a home next year? All these things remain unanswered. 800 days, well, over 800 days of living in limbo. Our rights are not for sale. This is not okay. Sorry, I'm shaking a bit. I'm getting very excited now. I'll try and calm. So we, the EU citizens, all of us, caught up in this unprecedented situation, the threatened loss of our rights against our will, needed a voice. In Limbo, the In Limbo project has given us a united, powerful voice. And I can tell you what, all those members of Parliament that have ignored us all, see, I've changed it there. The written word is recorded now with these books for posterity, and they cannot be ignored. The advocacy work done by the team is a key driver of this important project. So who thought of this project? The EU citizens living in the UK. Who thought of us? The British citizens living in the EU. The EU citizens in the UK. Oh, this is an incredibly kind and moving gesture. Actually makes me feel quite emotional. And this project represents a huge demographic. It's not just EU citizens in the UK or UK citizens living in the EU. These books contain testimonies from UK citizens living in the UK, UK citizens living in the rest of the world, and EEA citizens. Brexit is far-reaching and affects all of us. I've lost my place. So, nothing has happened yet. That's another thing we hear all the time, by the way. And we know differently. So again, I say our rights are not for sale. It's not okay.
Not okay.
So I'm just going to read, I'm nearly finished. I'm just going to read a little extract from my own testimony. We deliberated over this, and we thought best to stick to mine. So, as I said in the book, I wrote that, Elena. Oh yes. I apologise to my family and friends for not being around very much these over 800 days that we've been living in limbo, as much as I would like to. This is all because I feel adrift, I feel lost, I'm in limbo. It hurts very much to have your life and the right to live as you have chosen, sacrificed on the altar of Brexit. I am no longer angry, I'm flipping furious. So, this is my message to the government. You do not have my consent to change or remove my legally exercised treaty rights. It's not okay. Thank you, merci, dankjewel, dankeschön.
I think it's great that we've had Molly here today. Molly's a young person, and I know under the UN rights of the child, their views, wishes and feelings are as important as everybody else. It's one of my campaign rights. So thank you very much, Molly. Thank you, Elena. Thank you, Debbie. I was once a young child, and when I was very lucky. My heart is in limbo because I grew up in the Netherlands, and so those speeches have really touched my heart. Thank you very much. Next up we have Drew. Drew you might not know, but he is also better known as Bojo. So give it up for Bojo. Thank you.
I think what she meant was actually Phobojo. Should I just get on with singing, or should I offend some of you first? But bunch of bloody Redoners, if you like Europe so much, why not... hold on, we are in Europe. I should remember, we're in the very heart of Europe. Being as we are in Brussels, I better give this number to you in French first of all, and this one's hopefully for the kids at the back. I hope they've managed to stay long. Alors, je suis le roi de la banque, le secrétariat étranger. Mes demi-demandes serveurs veulent rester, et c'est ce qui me dérangeait. Je veux bremer maintenant Brexiteers, Liam Fox me fait tomber. Le Brexit fort de mai est devenu duel. David Davis était un pupitre. Oh, ou de deux, je veux rester dans le je veux vous coutumer à la carte, ciel ouvert, et il y aura son tiglipon. Vous voyez, c'est vrai, un faux comme moi, peut parler mon chemin, retourner dans le Pas d'affaire de singe, Europe. Je voudrais un traitement avec vous. Si un menteur consommé, j'ai désiré un dongle respect. Alors donnez-moi le secret, Europe. Bien, dites-moi s'il faut faire. Maintenant Brexité que je vais être nègre pour un bungling rendez-vous. Oh, je veux rester dans le Nous-tu faisons des erreurs, demandez aux Français. Il n'est pas sinistre si je suis Premier ministre. Je peux parler notre retour dans le reprenez-nous, Monsieur Barnier. Je peux parler de mon chemin, retourner dans le mettez-moi en charge maintenant. Et je parlerai à ma manière dans le wants me to go straight to the fun. So all right. Well, we'll have to get the Prime Minister here first of all. Fortunately, she has joined me. Yes, the Labour has joined me. So, Prime Minister, well, it's ended up being dreadfully hot here, hasn't it? It's definitely too hot.
I say it's too hot.
Too hot?
I say hot.
You can't remember the response side, can you? Can you remember the response side, Prime Minister? That's right. Can you remember the response side, Prime Minister? Strong and stable.
Strong and stable.
Is that what you think? Is that also what you think of the weather that's been here? It's just far too humid here. It's been far too humid here today and since yesterday, hasn't it, Prime Minister? That's Jeremy Corbyn's fault.
Everything's Jeremy Corbyn's fault.
I think we'll have to take 10 seconds just to get the music working because we've got a terrible arrangement here.
Get your funk on, people. Because Brexit will fuck you up. Brexit will fuck you up.
There we go. All right, then, Paddy. We just need to sum up for all of the people opposing Brexit here, Prime Minister. We just need you to sum it up in a few words. Why there is any benefit for them? How will Brexit benefit them?
Brexit means Brexit.
Come on, Prime Minister. The future of Britain depends on your ability to answer questions with more than just answers of a few vacuous words. Tell the people what you're really saying.
What I am saying is what I am saying, which is what I am saying, which is what I am saying, which is...
Yes, I think I have to agree with the man here. What we were actually saying is bollocks. So.
I'm sorry, but you weren't very clear.
Let me be very clear.
Let me be crystal clear.
Right, I think the best way we can be clear, Prime Minister, is in this song. So we're as uptown as we can be in the heart of Europe. Being in Brussels, bienvenue at Brussels, we will have to give them a bit of the most uptown song we can give them. Unfortunately, you don't get through their Mars and Mark Ronson, but you do get Theresa May and Boris Johnson. So we're going to give you a bit of Mojo Punk now, and it's a very simple call and response song for those of you who don't know it. When I say I'm too hot. You say hot damn to acknowledge the sheer humidity we're experiencing in this venue. Who was kindly, very graciously, big hand for the grapevine. But we will acknowledge how humid it is in the venue. So when I say I'm too hot, you say that's right. And when I say Brexit ain't no hallelujah, you say no. Brexit ain't no hallelujah. Brexit ain't no hallelujah. Brexit's not a hallelujah. Because Mojo Fox not helping this Brexit at all. And towards the end, I will give you a clear assessment of just how terribly I've done as Foreign Secretary, and I will say, being as we have children present, I have mucked it up. You say Boris has mucked it up. I have mucked it up.
Boris has mucked it up.
All right, I think I've got it together. Do you think we're meant to perform Prime Minister?
Strong and stable.
I'll take that as a yes. Let's go.
Bojo, bojo, bojo. Bojo, bojo,
Take it away, Theresa.
Brexit's ice cold. Boris Johnson, this white gold. Brexit is for MPs. My MPs like sheep their boys. Styling number 10. Moving it up in Whitehall. We've got Mayhem with me, Theresa. Make this way sometimes everything. I'm too hot. Think I'm hotter than deep down, I'm too hot.
I mean, Cameron wants to retire now. I'm too hot. Hot dash! Betrayed me minnows knows who I am. I'm too hot. Hot dash! Because I couldn't for money. Break it down now. Brexit ain't no hallelujah. Brexit's not a hallelujah. Brexit ain't no hallelujah. Because the Bojo Fund's not helping us. The Bojo Fund is not helping the government to sort our own system. You've lost your majority. You've lost half the cabinet. We're going to lose Brexit. You've got to tell everyone. Don't believe me. Just wrong. Upside your head. Strong and stick. Strong and stick. Don't believe me. Just wrong. Oops. Upside your head. Strong and stick. Strong and stick. Don't believe me. Just watch. 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 Hey, 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 hey. Stop. Wait a minute. Fill my cup for Prosecco with it. Take a sip, cider check. Horace, look at the stretch. We're to Champagne, Valley Road, Tuscany, and Cut. Great wines, and we show up. You're going to show out. You're smooth as your mama. But I'm too hot. I'm so hot. But I'm hotter than Sydney Can. I'm too hot. Hot dash. Nick Cameron wants to retire now. I'm too hot. Hot dash. Betrayed me minnows who I am. I'm too hot. Hot dash. Because I stay with me for money. Break it down now. Brexit ain't no hallelujah. Brexit's not a hallelujah. Brexit ain't no hallelujah. Because the Bojo Fund's not helping us. The Bojo Fund is not helping your Brexit until Prime Minister. You've lost your majority. You're definitely going to lose Brexit. It's over for you, Theresa. Don't believe me. Just watch. Oops. Upside your head. Strong. Stable. Strong and stable. Don't believe me. Just watch. Oops. Upside your head. Strong and stable. Strong and stable. Don't believe me, just watch. 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 Hey, 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 hey. Now, boss, what we need from you is a clear reason why you won't support the Chequers Plan. Do you have an alternative? I have mucked it up. Brexit mucked it up. I have mucked it up. Brexit mucked it up. I have mucked it up. Boris has mucked it up! I have mucked it up! Boris has mucked it up! We need to check it before we Brexit! Brexit isn't worth it, Prime Minister. We need to check it before we Brexit! Brexit isn't worth it to me, so we need to check it before we Brexit! Brexit simply isn't worth it! It's whatever it is, we're in Brussels. Don't believe me, just watch! Oops, upside your head. Strong and stable! Strong and stable! Don't believe me, just watch. Oops, upside your head. Strong and stable. I think we'll find a weaker moment, Prime Minister. Don't believe me, just watch. 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 Hey, 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 hey. I have fucked it up. I have fucked it up. I have fucked it up. Oh yes, I have fucked it up. Because Brexit fucks you up. Brexit fucks you up. So we can hear the power of Brexit fucks you up. Well, it's Thursday, I didn't think we were in Brussels. Just watch. Thank you very much, you unique. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I guess I've got to do one more at least. Alright. La même chanson en anglais. Now, I'm the king of the bungle, former foreign secretary. But half my brain still loves Remainers, and that's what's bothering me. I want to build a bridge to Europe, bring some rough trade into town. Because the Maybot has malfunctioned, and David Davis was a clueless man, so was I, so meaning I want Remainers to love me too. More than they, or more than that Nigel Frog too. It's not so sinister. I just wanted to be Prime Minister, so I can talk our way to a deal with the EU. Because honestly, I still love Europe, really, but what I need is plain talking and no pip-handling flummery. could be Europe, I can win a deal with you. Because I desire, as a consulate light, to keep Britain distantly close to you, whatever that means. Now give me the secret, Europe. Come on, clue me what to do. Now Brexit's out and we get the power to fudge every deal with you. So, we do. I want to pick and choose in you. Oh, a la carte customs and open skies and blue rat on Tiddly-pop. You see it's true. A fake like me. Could talk my way into any point of view. Give me number 10 now to reason I can talk our way into the EU. Back me up, Barnier, because maybe I should talk our way back into the EU. Thank you very much. So that was more. Can we make more? All right, I'll give you quite a loud one. Are we okay for schedule? Simon? Okay, yes. So this one is an import from Finland, and this is going to give the Prime Minister a bit of an excuse to do some dancing, because we all love to do some dancing, don't we? So this one makes clear exactly what I've been doing all this time as Foreign Secretary. It was originally written by I believe some British bloke called Gary Moore in the 80s, and then it was covered by a Finnish symphonic metal band known as Nightwish. So this is an import from Finland, and unfortunately, we can get it through the shaded area in the customs union. We don't have to worry about that here. And instead of over the hills and far away, this is wasting the months till Brexit Day. So here we go. You ready to dance, Teresa? I misled the whole nation, and from 29th March dawn, as Britain's trade all falls apart, you'll see that I was wrong. You see, Teresa is my puppet, and I'm just a useful fool. But many learned and listened the day that I said Britannia again will rule. Subversion of democracy is how I stand accused. And they're right, that's why I know I might get away with such reckless abuse. 'Cause I am wasting the months till Brexit Day, and until U-turns from UK, I'll lock down the borders, land and seas. A prison island Britain could be. The Brexit bill may cost us dear, they said to Mrs May. But since that's not convenient, a secret it must stay. She kept her mouth shut, but Brexiters are full of rage, and though most are so dumb, I'll just pretend to be their friend and make them think they'll get their freedom, wasting the months till Brexit Day. 'Cause Britain will no doubt return one day. We'll lock down the borders, land and seas. It's looking bad for the whole country. We're wasting the months till Brexit Day. Yes, you're quite happy to dance to that tune, aren't you, Prime Minister? They're wasting the months till, wasting the months till, wasting the months till Brexit Day. Now do the robot. She's been quite inspired by her trip to Africa, you see. I fly my way into this and I can't fly my way out. They whisper in the Foreign Office, even Jeremy Hunt can't make a good case for Brexit, wasting the months till Brexit Day. Cause Britain will no doubt return one day, as sure as the fish swim in the seas. Back in the EU is where we should be, wasting the months till Brexit Day. Cause Britain will no doubt return one day, as sure as the fish swim in the seas. Back in the EU is where we should be, wasting the months till Brexit Day. Cause Britain will no doubt return one day, as sure as the fish swim in the seas. Back in the EU is where we should be, wasting the months. I'm wasting the months till Brexit Day, wasting the months and weeks and days. I've wasted the months till Brexit Day. Sometimes I can hardly even manage that much multi-acting. Right.
All the way in Luxembourg. People here. Supporting.
Thank you very much. I'm Frodo. This is the Evening Rally.
Well, how do you follow that? Thank you, Bobo Joe. That is one of the most wonderful live events I've ever seen. I'm going to face it now by a faceless bureaucrat.
Thank you so much.
A faceless bureaucrat who is a transport specialist. I wish he could help Southern. But he's got to go and catch the Eurostar, he tells me, but I'm not sure about the timetable. So will you please welcome Blaze? Thank you.
Thank you very much, everybody. Now, I'm a faceless bureaucrat, and I'm also a young person, a young member of the metropolitan elite. But please, I urge all of you, please, don't blame Leave voters.
All Europeans, all of us are EU citizens fighting for, we're saying, hashtag people's vote. All the way here in Brussels here today, a beautiful rally, attending the beautiful rally which has been attended by loads of MEPs here, all the way from London, coming down to support this rally. My name is Juliet Macapilla. I'm bringing it live to you all the way from Brussels, and we are at the we are right at Luxembourg. I believe we're just about 1 minute from there. Anyway, catch you later. And that was
of our British representatives in the
Bojo singing.
have been pissing about since 1999.
Loads of great key speakers over here, and every single person is saying, stop Brexit, we still got time to stop Brexit. My name is Juliet Macapilla, just showing you the campaign is still on. For those who've been asking me whether the campaign is still going on, and yes, the campaign is really hot, and it gets hotter and hotter. For those who are willing to join in, the next one is on the 8th of September, then after that you've got another one on the 20th of October. Look out for details, I'll be posting the details for that. So the next one is 8th of September, but wherever you are, you can be doing stuff. So please, wherever you are, and everyone.
Who are the real patriots? Certainly not Farage, Hannon, Bojo, or Jacob Rees-Mogg. Who will stand up and stop the chaos that they created? The greatest threat to the UK is an unstable Europe, which we will create by the cataclysmic absolutely moronic decision to abandon the European project.
Go around, just
Rather than being an example of a strong and stable government, we've kick-started the disintegration of Europe by legitimising the spread of anti-immigrant rhetoric. Why should I accept the vote of the British people when they were lied to?
You can see people have come from Spain, Devon, Yorkshire, I can see Haven, I can see Manchester for Europe, Bath for Europe, Islington. So many people are here, different people from different parts. Even Netherlands as well has come here. So I've seen so many people who have joined in for this match here in Luxembourg.
And there's nothing we can do about it because we voted for it. A soft Brexit is terrible enough. How awful does it have to get for us to realise that a no-deal Brexit will be an absolute catastrophe? Our economy relies on just-in-time movement of goods, services and workers, so we can get the goods, skills and labour.
I'm right outside. I've just gone here to just quickly grab people so you can see the support. The support is real. All the way. Thank you so much. So yes, the support is real. Elaine and of course
and thank you very much for your contribution. I'd like now to introduce to you a lady from Devon for Europe. Well done, Devon. Anthea Simmons. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody. Lots of you I know are out on the street battling. Are you all battling? Oh, right. Well, I'm here to tell you we've got to battle harder. Because although the leaver on the street has got nothing to offer us now. Just to give you an example of a conversation I had with a leaver the other day. He said, oh, don't come at me with your facts, mate. I don't want your facts. I've got my own facts.
my message to you is, this is great. We're in our bubble, we need our bubble. God knows we'd go absolutely spare if we didn't have our bubble. But we have got to find ways of mobilising all those people who've signed up, give them a job to do. They want to fight. They know that time is running out. So get out there, reach out to the Remainer who's become a shrugger, a giver-upper, and reach out to the Leaver who wants to put it right. Because they know that Brexit is utter bollocks.
Thank you, Anthea. Bollocks to Brexit, that's what I say. Now, the running order has gone a bit awry, and I do apologise to all those who want to speak. We know there are many. But I want to bring up my great friend Dave Pallick, who has come all the way from Solomon to Brussels. And he's here to speak to you now. Thank you very much.
Is that okay? Good, right. I actually have an amendment for that as well, but I'm now taking those off and becoming respectable. Okay, from the top. This is for the foot soldier, the people Anthea was talking about. Thank you for being here. A few days ago, I was watching a documentary and I heard Ed Miliband say the Remain movement in the UK lacks passion. I am here to tell you the truth. We do not lack the passion. We are strong, determined, and we will prevail. A famous Englishman, revered by British nationalists, said, Europe will not be made all at once or according to a single plan. It will be built through concrete achievements which first create a de facto solidarity. We will continue that process. How do we do this? We're faced by two obstacles. Apathy. I work the streets day in, day out. The most common responses are, I'm fed up with it, I don't understand it, I wish it would go away. Given British society, that's all very understandable. We can shift that. Tell them, Europe feeds you, improve their knowledge. Do you know how the European Union works? Do you know that the bureaucracy here in Brussels is less than the bureaucracy in Little Britain? And last but no means least, when they say, I wish it would go away, I have to tell you, it's propaganda. Make no mistake. Absolutely no mistake, gentlemen at the bar.
No mistake.
Thank you. The Leave campaign was based on lies and funded by vested interests. It's straight from the Nazi handbook.
Yes.
How to manipulate a large population.
Yes.
A lie repeated often enough becomes the truth. And every day while our parliamentarians sit on their fat asses, Steve Bray and many others are heard outside Parliament. Bollocks to Brexit stickers appear in the most surprising of places. You'd be surprised where I can go dressed like this. Likewise, I get flags into the most surprising of places. and we rally and we protest, and massive respect to Anthea and Devon for Europe and Britain for Europe for the weekly stalls. Get on them, volunteer for them, and we are visible every day. We wear our t-shirts on buses, in public places, on the trains, in the market square. We leaflet, we sticker, and I'm a chatty person. I will talk to anybody. I will talk about not Brexit bollocks, but about being good.
Hello, hi to everyone who's joined in. Thank you so much for Layomi Koiki, George, Reverend George Aguye, Natalie C. Metso watching all the way from USA, Baba Caleb, thank you, and of course, Jibadia Dijimo from Nigeria. Christopher Norris, thank you for joining in. Olushola Isaac, thank you for joining in. Victoria Bayo, Rosemary Brooks, thank you for joining in. Chester Makanda, thank you for joining in. Christine Kanao, Alimachi, Jimoni Kene, who is also a community leader, thank you for joining in. Donald Ikweb, thank you for joining in. Lena Mashal, thank you for joining in.
Fed on bad TV, bad food, propagandised by a corrupt media.
All the way in Kenya, Sandra Lewis, thank you for joining in. Maingi Captain, all the way in America, thank you for joining in. Kenya Thomas, thank you for joining in. There's a lot of campaign in parenting. And of course, Elizabeth James, thank you for joining in. Adriana Ayama, thank you for joining in. Elizabeth Roma.
And it will end here with a pan-European assembly that works for every sovereign nation, for every family, every organisation, and for every European citizen.
Sonia Maka, thank you for joining in. Lucy Laker, thank you so much for joining in.
Be assured, my brothers and
We just
sisters,
passed France,
comrades,
thank you for joining in.
foot
Job,
soldiers,
Combosi,
the
thank you for joining
European
in.
movement
Louisa
in
Ati,
Britain
of course,
is
also
strong
James, Fiona
and
White,
growing
Sally,
stronger.
Flemington.
Right, quickly we must get on because I've heard that the van is going to go in about an hour.
We've got people watching all across America, Kenya, Nigeria, every single person watching there, we welcome them. They are fighting for us as well.
Thank you very much for that. Yes, international guest, Dr. Bell, merci beaucoup, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We are a grassroots campaign, we must remain. Can I welcome up next Jeffrey Tapping? Jeffrey? Jeffrey?
Won't be a minute.
Thank you for waiting. writing so eloquently. Jeffrey, 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 Jeffrey. Come on up, because the band's going to go in a minute. Bienvenue, Jeffrey. Bienvenue.
Katerina, do you want to repeat that?
Yes, it is definitely hashtag Stop Brexit, yes. Continue following us, please. Yes, thank you so much for watching all the way. Everyone watching international, I've just acknowledged you. All of you have been acknowledged. Many, many thanks for joining in. And of course, everyone watching from United Kingdom, we love you. Thank you so much. Juliet Makapila.
Sammy. Sammy, well done. Everybody knows Sammy? I'm delighted as an average member of the public and as one of the 5 million people who find themselves in limbo to be given the chance to speak here today. And on a subject that's dear to my heart, our rights. I'm part of a Brexit problem in that politics to me was always a vote for more of the same. Centre-right or centre-left. But that's changed with this evil that is Brexit. We've been lied to.
Thank you so much for joining.
We've been manipulated.
And I'm going to say
we've been targeted by illegal advertising on social media.
And follow me at
we've seen a company who used brainwashing techniques developed by the military.
Thank you so much for coming in.
We've been used.
Please all help me
we've
by
been coerced into extreme politics.
This video. I really appreciate if you share this video. Please join in at hashtag
extreme right,
People's Vote
extreme left.
And please help us
both of which not many people want or even understand. And now we're being offered 2-tier rights. Second-class rights for EU citizens to buy if they wish to remain in our country. Rights they have to buy if they want to keep their families together. Rights that many EU citizens, despite living in Britain for decades, are not all entitled to. And so are forced to live in a way that is as violent and
my good friend Gloria Adigwe for coming in and supporting me. I really would like to thank her. She's here with me, hiding somewhere, sitting somewhere quietly, just to get a grip of how this kind of rallies go on. And of course, thank you so much.
My rights were not given out as a reward for good behaviour.
Who has allowed me to sort of even...
They're not given to us for standing four square with the government, like they hand out seats in the House of Lords. Our rights have been paid for by something more precious than money, and for a reason this government or even this parliament will never understand.
I need to
our rights have been paid for with the blood of our forebears.
For over an hour, and of course,
with the incarceration of people who just want to make life a little better, a little easier for those who follow.
This campaign is
rights that were important enough for people to give their lives for.
Hashtag People's Vote.
I will not stand by in silence
you
while there are people in the UK Parliament who believe their jobs are more important than our lives.
Say hashtag People's Vote. Hashtag
and who are happy to spit on the memory of the truly great people in our history. The people who stood up against tyranny.
I would like to appreciate every single European and of course the United Kingdom, every single person who voted and said stop Brexit. I want to appreciate that. Every single one person who...
Because they can't afford to.
Yeah.
That way lies slavery. If any
government
refuses to recognise my rights, I will refuse to recognise that government.
Yes.
Our rights are the price a government pays to exist. Thank you.
Jeffrey, well done. Well spoken, Jeffrey.
That was a very powerful speech, Jeffrey. My grandfather was incarcerated I know the suffering that
Of
many
course,
do.
there is Sue over there, all the way from Spain, MEP, and many MEPs, Labour, Greens,
and that is why
over here. I'm going to say,
right the way across our nation.
Thank you, we all the way joining in from Kenya. Thank you for all of you joining in, and of course, Juliet Makapila, London Regional Executive for the Lib Dem Diversity Champion, London Regional Diversity Champion for the Lib Dem. I'm sorry I couldn't be at the meeting today. I really needed to be here to support diversity and inclusion amongst the EU. Supporting diversity and inclusion amongst the EU. We are all included, and we have to fight for these rights and freedom for all. Freedom for all. This is what it's all about, freedom for all. So I am saying freedom for all. Please follow us at hashtag People's Vote, and of course at hashtag Stop Brexit. And of course my hashtag is at JNM1000, at JNM1000. Please follow my tag, and please, if you are sharing this, please share this. Thank you so much to every single MEP, MPs, and all the local communities who have traveled all the way from London to come and join this event here in Luxembourg, in Brussels. Many thanks to everyone who is watching. I love you all. Many thanks. United we are, united we're going to stay stronger together, because it is in us the spirit of unity. All the lies that was told, that was not right. So let us take this vote back to Parliament, and of course.
This is not just about a bunch of MEPs coming just outside the European Parliament to say, keep us in a job. This is about real people. This is about nurses, doctors, firemen. This is about even bankers, rich people, poor people, people from the north, the south, the east, the west, England, Wales, Scotland, Northern Ireland, everybody.
So today we're here live here in Brussels. That is what brought me to Brussels. I'm traveled all the way from the United Kingdom, and yes, I'm here enabling all of you to see what is happening in Brussels. Many thanks for every single supporter. My name is Juliet Makapila, bringing it live to you from Brussels, Luxembourg. I am here today, meeting so many people who are also saying, UK, please stop this issue about and we need to exit Brexit. Every single voice I've had here today is exit Brexit. Oh, hello, look who you have here today. Nice, yes, we are live here. Stop Brexit, stop Brexit.
That's good.
Yes, everyone is saying that.
That is the extent of the idiocy, the madness, in fact the ideological insanity that we have at the heart of the government at the moment. And it is up to each and every one of us to point out this madness for what it is.
For anyone telling you that it is levers, no, it is not levers. What you don't know is when it comes to people's vote, I hear we have gone to 57% or even more. Please, hashtag and also share this video. I voted to say, because I know that if the pound goes down, the African people will suffer. So I am here to support my African nations, and I'm here to say hashtag Stop Brexit. I am here in Brussels to say hashtag Stop Brexit, and of course support our Commonwealth. Many thanks to you speaking all the way in Brussels, Juliet Makapila.
Actually, no, leaving the European Union is a really bad idea. We were marching around. In fact, some people told us to get over it. They said, you know what, the people have spoken, that's that.
But I'm going to say, I love you all. I'm going to say good night and good evening. I'm going to be here for a few more hours. Let me charge my phone, and this is good night from me all the way. Lots of love from me. Please help share this video. That's the best you can do. And please, wherever you are, please join in and start saying, my children matter. The world is watching. The world is watching, as you can see. The world is watching here in Brussels,
areas
the momentum is, and I said the momentum here in Brussels is UK wake up, you're all Europeans. That is the momentum here in UK. I leave you with that. Many thanks again for watching.
Now, to bring these people with us, not to ridicule them, not to say, well, you made a bad decision in June 2016. Heaven knows I've made a few bad decisions in my life. Bring these people with us. We need them. They changed their mind. That's a good thing. We need them. And I tell you now, we are in the majority. It's up to us to demonstrate that.
Thank you to all the organizers and every single person who has traveled from United Kingdom or wherever you've traveled from to come here all together, line up. We are here to make support and to ensure that right outside the EU Commission where we are saying hashtag stop Brexit, and we need the support. So this is what this is all about.
Is that your presence here is incredibly important.
Our presence
because it
here
shows
is
to all of our colleagues
important.
from the
That is
EU
what you're saying, and it
27
shows
that the
dedication
fight
and
isn't
commitment.
over, that Brits are not giving up on our European identity, that there are millions and millions and millions of us who see these two flags together and think they go bloody well.
Thank you so much.
They are two beautiful flags, and I am bloody proud to be represented by those two flags. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I think as a constituent of New Haven, I can speak quite well about the importance of the disruption we're going to have. Even at Eurostar yesterday, my support worker was absolutely baffled as to what would happen at Eurostar after March 2019 if we go through with this. Thank you, sir, for that. Next I have up Alexandro or Anita. Thank you very much.
Hello to everybody. Sorry, don't mean to interrupt Alessandro.
Right, thank you very much for that, Alexandro. That was fantastic. Up next, and one of our final speakers, you'll be glad to hear, is James Dart. Thank you very much, James. Do come up. I would clap, but I can't clap and hold.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you everyone for being here. You've done really well. It's been a long evening, and I appreciate everyone. We're a little bit tired by now. So what I want to do is I want to go back to my teaching days, and I want to really quickly do a quick teaching exercise with everybody. So when I point across like this, when my finger points at you, you shout one word that comes to mind when you think Brexit. All right? Really quickly then. Louder.
Keep going. What more? How many words do you know? No one knows the second word. Alright, okay, let's go on with it. Alright, so actually I'm going to keep the interactive thing going. I'm going to do a quick poll. So, how point over the last 2, 3, 4, 5 years? Okay, what about if you had any feelings of betrayal or disempowerment, disenfranchisement?
Thank you so much.
Okay, alright, I'm sensing a theme. Yeah, it sounds familiar. The reason why this is important, I think, is for two reasons. First of all, this sort of shows why young people weren't taken in by a lot of what the Leave campaign said. Because these issues aren't really our issues. NHS waiting times, trying to get a school place. If you're under 30, chances are these haven't quite come up on your radar yet. But the second point, is it any wonder that people were feeling disaffected? Is it any wonder that people were angry? Is it any wonder that people chose to take the let's take a chance box as opposed to the everything's okay box? Perhaps if we had done as the French did historically and sent elite politicians over to the EU instead of white schools T-boys, we would have had more influence in the EU and people would have felt prouder to have been a member state. Perhaps if Labour and Conservative governments over the years had spoken well of the EU instead of using it as a political football to distract from their own failings at home, again, perhaps people may have had a different opinion of the EU over the years. And perhaps if the tabloid press, so fearful of losing their place in the world in the age of the internet, had chosen solidarity or perhaps just even objectivity instead of jingoism, xenophobia, perhaps again people might have had a slightly different feeling when they went to the ballot box on voting day. And finally, the Remain campaign, let's not forget, this was an absolute shambles of epic proportions. George Osborne and David Cameron led that campaign. Okay, in 2014, their scare tactics worked pretty well in Scotland. In 2015, their scare tactics worked pretty well, and everyone shied away from Ed Miliband. But 3 years in a row, it was overkill. By the time 2016 came along, people weren't buying it anymore. Lost my place. What's that? So if you're under 30, chances are a lot of this is passing by. Over 70% of my age cohort voted to Remain. That's not a fluke. But my age cohort, they weren't studying Bloomberg. We aren't geniuses. We aren't more intelligent than those who voted Leave, who are over 65s, for instance. We just have, in my opinion, we have a different affinity with the EU than older generations do. My history lessons and my generation's history lessons at school were critical of empire instead of fetishizing empire. I mean, my mum and dad tell me about how they learned history, and essentially it was the globe was pink and it was fucking brilliant, and that was all you learned about the empire. we don't watch Zulu on repeat. My granddad, bless his heart, was a lovely man, but he literally spent his last few years sat in his living room watching Zulu on repeat, and I found that very sad in some respects and worrying. And we weren't alive when we had blue passports, so we really don't care about blue passports. My generation, we sat at school in maths lessons next to first generation German Brits. We sat next to first generation British Poles in music. We played football against British Spaniards, and they were always better than us, miles better than us. These are our mates. We danced with French Brits. These were our school friends. My generation, we travelled to Stockholm and Prague. We studied in Rotterdam and Paris. We work in Lisbon and Rome. We are truly European, I think, more so than any generation of Brits, I dare say, that have come before us. We have actually not experienced the decades of drip-fed Europhobia. Instead, what we have done is we have witnessed the fruits of membership firsthand. Therefore, I'm wrapping it up. Seriously, I cannot conceive of a future where young people abandon their fondness of an integrated EU that stands shoulder to shoulder with our allies and our friends on the continent. I cannot imagine a version of Brexit that will satisfy young people in the slightest. I seriously can't. All I can see are young people who mistrust the British tabloid press, who hate Brexit and who despise its ideological leaders, Nigel Farage, Jacob Rees-Mogg, etc. For me, therefore, Brexit is doomed. Brexit is doomed to failure, and inspiring you, my group, along with the other fantastic groups, youth groups like Our Future, Our Choice and FFS, who do wonderful work, we will continue to inspire young people, to mobilise young people, and to get that vote. A victory for real people, a victory for ordinary people, a victory for decent people, as some charlatan said once upon a time.
Thank you, James. And remember, please, that our young people are our future, and so it's really important to hear from you and from your brother. Thank you. I think I am the penultimate speech, but I may need a hand. I don't know if one of my friends could come up and hold the microphone whilst I give my speech. Joe, thank you. In a moment we're going to do the European anthem with Bojo, just towards the end, and then I also want to pay tribute to Samet. Okay, thank you. This speech is dedicated to my dear friend John, who I hacked this speech from his motion to the Labour Party in Lewis. I'm going to say, fellow Europeans, Brexit is the most important issue that we will face in our lifetimes, foisted upon us by an incompetent Tory Prime Minister and seized upon by an avarice right-wing clique, to the huge detriment of ordinary people across Europe. We are all of the issues, and we must surely prevent these rampant, conniving scoundrels from leading us into the shame and further poverty of austerity. We are the movement that can save our country from this misguided act of folly. Friends, I didn't write this. Thank you, John. Friends, if we don't get this right, there may well be calamitous consequences for us all and the wider political scene in the coming years across Europe. We can steer the country through this turmoil, and by supporting a people's vote on the final Brexit deal, demanded of us citizens across Europe, the 2016 referendum was a chance to kick back at austerity and those that promoted us. We must offer a way forward for our children and our grandchildren by offering a people's vote, so that informed decision can be made by a wiser and wider electorate. We know there is an ever-growing movement. We are part of that movement, away from Brexit, with a public eager to sign petitions and accept leaflets calling for a people's vote. The time is now, mes amis. Together, we must remain. Thank you very much. Is Summit here, please? Summit, where are you? Get him from having his nicotine breaks, please. Summit! Can someone find him outside, please? Summit! Can we just give a huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for Summit, please? Even if he's not here, I want him to hear our praise and thanks. He might be late, he might not be the great transport initiative person, but he's got his heart, and his heart remains in Europe, and I love him. Ladies and gentlemen, Summit! I can see Summit from the back. Summit! 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 Give this guy a great round of applause, please. He deserves it. Thank you very much, Summit. Phil? Phil? Are you around, Phil? Where's Phil? Phil Sage? Is he around at all? Phil's not here. Is Phil not here anymore? Can we just give Summit a huge round of applause and let him say thank you, please?
Alright, firstly I'd like to say again, thank you all from the bottom of my heart for coming here today. I never in my wildest dream thought I would get this kind of response. Last year, in June, was my first event in Brussels. And from total number of 10, look at tonight. And also, I've been approached today, I'm announcing it tonight, publicly, but this morning, when I was at the Parliament, I was approached by a number of MEPs to do another event in Strasbourg on the final week of us being a member of the European Union. Meant to be.
Thank you for watching.
So I'm inviting you all to show solidarity and show UKIP what we're made of! Tomorrow, so when I get back to London tomorrow at 10 o'clock, on Friday morning, I'll be releasing the next event page. So please, if you can, keep 27th of March 2019 free in your diaries. Thank you.
Thank you, Sammy. You are a star, and yeah, I was there in June 2 years ago, and it's very different today as it was then, and thank you for all your time and space. I'd like to bring up Bojo again. I've got his name right now. And he's going to lead us in what we call the anthems. I don't know if it's chess, I don't know if it's Ode to Joy, or could it be Land of Hope and Glory? We hope all three. That's close from me, thank you.
I was expecting people to come up and join me. Does anyone want to, yeah? Yeah. Come on up if you want to sing with the mic. Bring your glasses.
probably help me with the words because I haven't exactly mastered them yet. Come on up, come on up, come on up. I think the other mantras are probably better. Bollocks to Brexit! Bollocks to Brexit! Yeah, that's easy for you, isn't it? Oh, no EU flag there. Can we borrow maybe one of those from up there? Thank you, Gareth. At least we can wave one of them. Oh, I can. We're just going to take 1 minute to correct some technical difficulties. Accessibility. Oh, finally, it decided to respond. Yes, we're just improving accessibility for our compare. There we go. Right.
Come on everybody, let's come and sing the Open Joy anthem up here. Let's tell the world that we are European citizens. Every one of us is singing
Joy, bright spark of divinity, daughter of Ilium, fire inspired we tread thy sanctuary. Thy magic power reunites all that custom has divided. All men become brothers under sway of thy gentle wings. Whoever has created an abiding friendship, or has won a true and loving mind, or who can call at least one soul destroyed in our song of praise. But any who cannot must creep tearfully away from our circle. All creatures drink of joy at nature's press, just and unjust alike taste of her king. Yes, it is. Practice this before I do that. Yeah. For in worship you millions, world to know your Creator, seeking in the heavens of the stars he must be well.
As it's getting late here, please tune in into my other phone. I'm going to be changing very, very shortly. Please tune into my other phone. I'm going to be changing.
Can we do the second verse, official second verse of the national anthem?
Official
I don't know
second
if anybody
verse.
knows it. Which is
Clive
about.
and Bojo both are helping to lead the song of the
I've been told I've got to go back.
EU.
Guys, can we just take a group photo? One last thing. At the end there.
And it's good night.
And then we call it a night.
Take photos And thank you so much for every single person that has joined in. Of course, Amos from Nottingham, thank you for joining in. Amos Bogwa from Nottingham, and of course, every single person that has joined in from London. I love you all. It's the end of the evening. I met somebody from Oxfordshire. Caroline is from Oxfordshire. There she is. Caroline is saying hello, hello, hello. Hello,
hi.
Thank you so
Oh,
much.
it's yours.
Thank you. Yes, thank you so much. So yes, and of course,
still here.
all the way from Oxfordshire.
Indeed.
We love you. Thank you so much for joining us all the way from Oxfordshire. Thank you. So yes, we have got every single person. That is, we're coming to the end of this program, and of course it continues with the drink this evening. For those that have joined in live here today, Israel Munkishi, Jenny Bilu, Yero, Julie Morris, and every person that has liked, please help me share this video. Maingi Captain again, who has joined in, and of course Drew Hartman, please sending my apologies at the Lib-Dem meeting conference. I'm in Brussels trying to help out inclusion here and all of us. Of course, the hashtag here today is keep it vote, and of course keep praying, keep going, get on for Europe, this is Europe, we have Europe, every single place represented across London has visited this evening and afternoon here in Brussels. And yes, we made it. London Regional Executive also represented Clive Lewis here right in front of us, sending out our apologies. And yes, we are all here. People's March will be on September 8th and of course October 20th. And here is back for Europe as well. Manchester is here, Islington is here, and Suffolk, who represents with the Councillor for Leap James. Yes, thank you for joining in. I know you are at the but I tell you what, absolutely favorable people coming in, supporting the and saying we should not give up, and we will not give up.